Chosen one. You've wondered why your life feels heavier than most. Why you walk paths others run from. Why pain has followed you like a shadow, but every time it came to consume you, something sacred inside whispered, "Rise again." That whisper wasn't your mind. It was Jesus, the living word, echoing inside your spirit. You were never built to live a common life. You were designed to carry Christ consciousness, to mirror His pattern, to walk in His rhythm, to reflect His inner light on earth. And that's why your journey feels familiar to the story of Jesus Himself. Not because you are Him, but because He is within you. Your tears, your betrayals, your waiting seasons, your quiet miracles, they all form a reflection of a divine template that was written long before you were born. When heaven chose you, it didn't choose you to be comfortable. It chose you to be Christ-like in the rawest form possible. You carry Jesus not as an idea, but as a living current. A sacred power that flows through your humanity, turning weakness into testimony, pain into prophecy, and silence into divine revelation. Many believe the goal of faith is to follow Jesus. But chosen ones understand something deeper. You were not only called to follow His footsteps, but to mirror His essence. To mirror means to embody His pattern so deeply that heaven can look at you and say, "Yes, I see my Son in them." When you speak truth that costs you. When you forgive in places that broke you. When you still love even after being rejected. You are not acting human anymore, you are revealing divine DNA. That is the hidden mystery of being chosen. God hides His Son inside you and then lets life press you until Christ begins to appear through the cracks. You become a living reflection of redemption. And the more you are misunderstood, the more the Christ in you becomes revealed. Because Jesus' path was never about popularity, it was about purpose. He wasn't accepted by the world, He was assigned to change it. And now, so are you. You see, heaven doesn't just want a generation that worships Jesus, it wants a generation that resembles Him. And resemblance comes with fire. Every test you faced, every season of silence, every betrayal you endured, it wasn't punishment. It was formation. God wasn't breaking you down, He was aligning you with the sacred pattern of His Son. You're not just walking toward Jesus, you're walking as Jesus would, carrying His light through your own unique vessel. Chosen one, let's look at the divine blueprint. The life of Jesus was never linear. It was layered with meaning, each stage mirroring what God allows you to walk through. The hidden years, before miracles, before ministry, before the spotlight, Jesus lived in obscurity. He worked, waited, prayed. He carried divine purpose but was wrapped in invisibility. Sound familiar? You, too, have spent seasons where your power was real but unseen. Where you were doing sacred work in silence. That's not delay, it's divine protection. The baptism moment, when Jesus came out of the water, heaven spoke, "This is my beloved Son." But immediately after that, He was led into the wilderness. Because every divine announcement is followed by divine testing. Likewise, every time God confirmed something over your life, chaos tried to challenge it. But that was the Spirit preparing you, not punishing you. The wilderness, isolation, temptation, hunger. You've walked through these deserts too. When no one saw your struggle, God was watching how your soul responded when comfort was stripped away. That's how divine maturity is born, through hidden battles. The betrayal season, Jesus wasn't betrayed by strangers, He was betrayed by the ones He loved. If you've been wounded by familiar hands, you're in divine company. It's not random. Betrayal reveals who carries truth, it separates the anointed from the attached. The crucifixion phase, the moment when what you built seems to die. When dreams fall apart and people turn away. But this is the sacred paradox. What looks like death in the natural is resurrection in disguise. God allows things to fall so that only what is eternal can rise again. The resurrection moment, when everything in you should have stayed down, but you rise anyway. That's when heaven begins to reveal what you've become, a living continuation of Jesus' legacy on earth. Every chosen one mirrors these phases in some form. You're not repeating history, you're carrying prophecy. Your pain is proof that heaven is trusting you with resemblance. Chosen one, There are moments in your life where you've stopped and asked, "Why does this feel so familiar? Why do I sense that what I'm walking through has already been written somewhere before?" It's because it has. Your life, though unique in expression, carries the rhythm of a sacred pattern. You are not just existing, you are reenacting a divine design that was imprinted in the life of Jesus himself. When the Spirit of Christ lives within someone, it doesn't just make them holy. It begins to shape their entire journey to resemble His. You start to think how He thought, feel what He felt, endure what He endured, and ultimately, rise how He rose. And when this happens, heaven begins to send you confirmations. Holy signals that your life is mirroring His sacred path. Here are the deep, living signs that the Jesus within you is being revealed through your story. You've always carried a quiet depth. Even as a child, you felt different. While others played for fun, you watched the world and wondered about its meaning. You didn't just see situations, you saw patterns. You didn't just hear words, you heard motives. That's not coincidence. That's ancient light inside you, Christ's Spirit remembering what your mind forgot. There's a wisdom in you that doesn't match your timeline because the Spirit of Jesus is eternal. When He takes residence in your being, your soul begins to operate with timeless awareness. That's why you've always been ahead of your surroundings. Not in arrogance, but in perception. You can sense what's coming before it arrives. You can feel truth before it's spoken. It's because your soul is walking through a script that was written thousands of years ago. And sometimes, that maturity isolates you. People don't always understand your calm in chaos or your peace in uncertainty. But remember this, Jesus, even as a boy in the temple, taught the teachers. You too have carried wisdom beyond logic, because eternity lives inside your heart. One week you're celebrated. The next you're doubted. One door opens wide, another slams shut in your face. People bless you in the morning and question you by night. You start wondering, is this instability? But chosen one, what you're experiencing isn't instability, it's divine synchronization. Jesus lived in contradictions. He healed crowds but prayed alone. He was loved deeply but betrayed quickly. He raised the dead yet was condemned as blasphemous. Your life mirrors this same rhythm because the anointing of Jesus carries both glory and friction. Light and shadow walk hand in hand. When heaven increases your power, it also increases your resistance. Every contradiction is proof that heaven is adjusting your life to hold both authority and humility. The storm doesn't mean you've lost favor. It means you've stepped into divine tension, where your destiny meets your refinement. This one cuts deep, doesn't it? You've been wounded, betrayed, and misjudged, and yet, somehow, your heart refuses to hate. You cry when you should be angry. You pray for those who broke you. And you wonder, why can't I just let go and move on like everyone else? It's because Jesus is living through you. He is reteaching the world how to love through your reactions. When they pierced Him, He prayed for their forgiveness. When they mocked Him, He responded with silence. When they deserted Him, He still broke bread for them. That same Spirit of grace now lives inside you. It's the mark of a divine carrier, to love beyond reason, to forgive before apology, and to bless without validation. You're not weak for forgiving. You're divine for doing so. It's a reflection that your soul has evolved beyond human instinct and entered divine operation. There are seasons where it feels like everything inside you is stretching, like God is pulling you in two directions. Your spirit wants to run, but your heart is still healing. Your vision is growing, but your capacity feels limited. This tension is not failure, it's formation. Before Jesus performed miracles, He was led into the wilderness. Before He multiplied bread, He endured hunger. Before He calmed storms, He faced storms alone. Being pulled apart means God is preparing your vessel to carry greater power. Every pressure, every contradiction, every inner storm, it's stretching your spirit to fit divine capacity. You're expanding. And expansion always feels like breaking before it feels like becoming. So when you feel torn, remind yourself, this is how divine elevation feels from the inside. There's a strange truth about spiritual evolution. Once Jesus awakens inside you, the old version of you begins to dissolve. You try to fit back into old friendships, but they feel hollow. You try to enjoy old habits, but they leave a spiritual aftertaste of emptiness. You try to walk back into comfort, but comfort now feels like confinement. Why? Because your vibration changed. The Christ within has altered your spiritual chemistry. You're not malfunctioning, you're metamorphosing. The same way the caterpillar can't crawl again after tasting the sky, your spirit cannot return to smallness once it's touched eternity. That's why you feel detached from the old world. You've been reborn from within. Jesus said, "You must be born again." And when you are, the world you knew loses its hold. You're not losing yourself, you're finding your divine reflection. Even when you don't speak, your presence speaks. You can walk into a room and feel the atmosphere shift. Some people are drawn to you without knowing why. Others are uncomfortable, not because of who you are, but because of what you carry. That's what happens when light walks among shadows. Jesus never needed to announce himself. His energy declared it before his words did. He didn't have followers because of charisma. He had them because his presence commanded recognition. You, too, carry that quiet authority. When you stand, heaven stands with you. When you speak, truth vibrates through your tone. And when people respond with strong emotion, whether love or resistance, it's not personal. It's spiritual reaction. They're responding to the Christ that lives in you. Some will honor it. Some will avoid it. But all will feel it. You've lost things you thought would last forever. People. Opportunities. Versions of yourself. Sometimes it feels like God keeps taking you to the edge of endings, over and over again. But hear this, chosen one, every death in your life has been a seed of resurrection. Jesus' journey was not just about his death. It was about the divine pattern of death and rebirth. And if he lives within you, that same cycle becomes the rhythm of your destiny. You lose so you can rise higher. You die to what's temporary so you can live in what's eternal. Every ending that broke your heart was God clearing space for glory. Every loss was a disguised promotion in the spirit. Every heartbreak was a sacred exchange where your human identity died and your divine one emerged stronger. You are not cursed, you are being reborn continuously. The grave you see is not the end, it's your birthing ground. There's something unique about your perception. You sense truth before you see proof. You feel when someone's energy shifts. You can walk into a place and know whether peace or darkness reigns there. You might have even doubted this gift once, thinking you were too sensitive. But that sensitivity is divine instrumentation. It's the same sight that lived in Jesus when he discerned the hearts of people before they spoke. When the Christ in you matures, your discernment sharpens. You start to see not just what is, but what's behind what is. You see energy, not just expression. You feel intention, not just action. This is not paranoia, it's participation. Heaven trusts you with sight that pierces illusion. So when you sense something's off, believe your spirit. It's not your imagination, it's your inheritance. Once upon a time, you sought noise, music, chatter, movement. Now you find peace in silence. You crave solitude like oxygen. Because stillness has become your sanctuary. Jesus often withdrew from crowds to pray. Even in the height of his influence, he sought mountains and quiet spaces. You mirror that instinct because his spirit is alive in you. When you sit in silence, you don't feel alone, you feel aligned. You start hearing the whispers between your thoughts. You sense God breathing through your stillness. You've discovered that stillness is not emptiness, it's communion. It's where the Christ in you speaks softly and the world outside loses its hold. The more you grow, the more you'll crave sacred quiet, because that's where your spirit refuels for the work ahead. This is one of the rarest confirmations. You'll start noticing people changing around you, not because you preach to them, but because your energy invited transformation. Some will say, "Something about you feels peaceful." Others will admit, "When I talk to you, I feel lighter." That's not coincidence. That's divine reflection. The Christ in you is touching the Christ in them. Your life becomes a sermon. Your resilience becomes a prophecy. Your peace becomes a mirror through which others see themselves more clearly. This is the highest form of spiritual impact, not conversion, but awakening. You're not here to force people to believe, you're here to remind them of what's already inside. And that's the essence of carrying Jesus. Your very existence becomes a revival. Not through volume, but through vibration. Not through noise, but through presence. Chosen one. If these signs resonate with your soul, it's because your life is already echoing His sacred path. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are becoming. Every delay has purpose. Every pain has pattern. Every step has prophecy. You carry the same Spirit that walked the streets of Jerusalem, that calmed the storm, that forgave from the cross, and that rose from the grave. You are not living a random story, you are living continuation. The divine blueprint of Jesus is unfolding through you, cell by cell, breath by breath, moment by moment. And when heaven looks down at you, it doesn't see failure, it sees reflection. It sees its own light shining through human form. You are proof that He still walks the earth. And your path, chosen one, is sacred beyond measure. Carrying Jesus is not light, it's wholly heavy. It means your empathy runs deeper. Your discernment is sharper. Your responsibilities are heavier because you are not walking for Him, you're walking as Him in this generation. You will be misunderstood, just as He was. But the misunderstanding is proof that heaven recognizes you. The closer you grow to the Christ within, the less you fit into systems built by man. You begin to vibrate at the frequency of compassion, truth, and divine order, things that make darkness nervous. And sometimes you'll cry without knowing why. It's not depression, it's intercession. The Christ in you feels the world's pain, and your tears become liquid prayers. Other times, you'll walk into a room and feel invisible weights lift. That's not imagination. That's spiritual displacement. The power in you cleanses the atmosphere without words. You are not just a believer, you are a carrier. And to carry Him means you live as both a servant and a sanctuary. He doesn't just visit you on Sundays, He resides within you every breath, every glance, every word. The miracle of the chosen one is not that you see Jesus, it's that Jesus sees the world through you. Chosen one. Every breath you take is a continuation of His story. Your struggles are modern parables. Your healing is a living scripture. Your forgiveness is a sermon only heaven fully understands. You are not walking a random road, you are tracing sacred footsteps in real time. You were never meant to imitate Jesus, you were meant to incarnate His Spirit. And that means your life is a gospel unfolding in flesh and motion. The way you rise after heartbreak. The way you choose light in darkness. The way you hold faith when no one's watching. That is Christ living again through you. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are the continuation of divine love on earth. So carry your cross with sacred dignity. Walk your path with quiet power. And remember this. Every time you love instead of hate, every time you forgive instead of fight, every time you choose faith instead of fear, you are mirroring the most sacred story ever written. You carry Jesus within. And your life, chosen one, is proof that He still walks among us. Like this video. And you can support the channel through the link in the channel's bio. Even your $1 is very precious for me and this channel. Your kindness helps us continue spreading light and love. God bless you.